Thank you, Diane. Is Hollywood going too far here, or is there a real problem with this on-screen violence? We decided to ask two moms, Liz Stern and psychologist Kathryn Smerling. Kathryn, overreaction?
Nothing is an overreaction now, but there may not be a direct causal relationship between violence on the screen and violence committed by people that are really mentally insane. It's not an excuse, but this man was terribly disturbed. And what is more of a causal relationship is the isolation, is the lack of attachment, the lack of empathy, the single-mindedness with which this child lived, the fact that he had absolutely no social relationships. That's more of an impetus for violence and the mental health, certainly, of the young people. But a lot of boys today use video games and use movies like that for social relationships. They'll sit and do them together, and then they run outside and play football.
So there's no connection there.
There's no direct causal relationship.
I can understand PR-wise why these companies would, in this environment, cool it on the ads and everything else. But a lot of them are afraid that they will be reined in and they will be forcibly told, if you're not going to take the guns and violence out of the movies, you certainly can't promote those movies with guns and violence.
I think as a parent to two young boys and as a parental expert, I think that it's very important as a job for us as parents to see what's going on in the homes, to make sure that our children are not playing violent video games, that they're not watching violent videos at such a young age. I have a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I know that in my home, it's very important that we're not watching and playing violent video games and video movies.
Would you be for reining them in?
I would be for they can't go away entirely, but I would make it so that we could probably take it away, yes.
Kathryn, what worries me is that we tend to overreact, with all respect to Liz, that what happens is then we go way overboard. And for all we know with Adam's case, now we heard this report early this hour, that what might have spurred this rage was his mother thinking about committing it.
Right.
And he heard about it and shot her and then went crazy and shot the kids in the classroom at the school that she was volunteering at and supposedly robbing him of attention and time. So it might have nothing to do with any of the stuff we're talking about.
I think that is absolutely true. I feel as though this man was disturbed for a very long period of time. And the fact that he didn't have the proper help and the proper mental health and wasn't in an environment where he could be supported was the problem.
Right.
I mean, the problem is
their argument is that we're desensitized to this sort of stuff, and our kids are because it's all around them. And maybe if it isn't so around them, we'll be better for it.
I don't know. I don't necessarily know about that. It's going to be there regardless. There are always going to be violent video games. There are always going to be violent movies. It's a parent's choice as to what we expose our children to and at what point.
But you're saying that's your call, or should that be the government's call?
Oh, that is my call. I don't think it's the.
Do you agree with that? That if we rein this in voluntarily,
it's got to be the parents,
or should the government do it?
The parents.
I also believe that parents need to know that there are other things that a child can do besides video games, and there can be a limit on the amount of time. It's not the only thing that a child does. But
children need to also go out. I'm sorry to interrupt. And play. They need to play.
Yeah, go outside.
They go outside. Kick a ball.
They also need. Parents need to know parenting.
Yes.
Parents need to know that they have to recognize when their child is so disturbed that they get the child help.
100%.
Rather than just isolate the child. I think that
or sit there and be in denial about it. We need to recognize.
Or use this entertainment as a substitute babysitter.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I also feel as though by isolating Adam Lanza, and I'm not their psychiatrist and there's no judgment intended, that it brought him further into his own mind. And that's what mental illness is that people live in their own mind.
Ladies, thank you both very much. So much we don't know. Maybe we will soon.
Thank you.